I think for me, you do not bet on the Kansas City Chiefs futures. You bet on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP. I think of all these bets, and let me run down the menu for all of those who are interested in betting on the Chiefs this year. You can bet on them to win the AFC West. They are minus 200. You can bet on them to win the AFC, who are they're also the favorite in that category, plus 300. Or you can bet on them to win the Super Bowl at 6-1. Win total 11.5. Juice to the over at minus 130. And to make the playoffs, they are minus 5-1. But let's talk about Patrick Mahomes for MVP. He has the second shortest odds behind Joe Burrow at plus 650. Riddle me this. Who is taking this award from Patrick Mahomes if he continues to put up the numbers that he is putting up? Like, do you see him getting worse? Because you mentioned this. Last year we said, oh, well, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill this year. He's really not going to put up those numbers. Somebody else is going to take that MVP award from him. But if you look at these quarterbacks and their corresponding head coaches, like, who's the better head coach quarterback combo in the NFL? Like, I don't think I'd put anybody above Andy Reid, the offensive genius, and Patrick Mahomes, the freak of nature, who is constantly rolling out these highlight reel-worthy plays. So of all of the Chiefs bets, which is your favorite? And are you going to talk me off betting on Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP?
No, I think I'd be silly to try to argue anyone off of betting Patrick Mahomes MVP if that's what you want to do. I mean, it's he or Burrow as long as they're both healthy all year. I think Jalen Hurts has an outside shot, but I think that window may even only open if you, again, are talking about 2, 3, 4 weeks without Mahomes or Burrow in the lineup. That being said, that's not my favorite bet. The win total at 11.5. My favorite bet is the over on wins because I still see this as a 13-win team. 14-3 last year. And for the same reason that I just talked about, when you sit down and look at the schedule, yes, you see those 9 games against quality quarterbacks. I ran down the list. Lawrence, Rodgers, 2 against Herbert, Cousins, Tua, Hurts, Allen, Burrow. Okay, let's say we split those games and go 5-4 if we're the Kansas City Chiefs in those 9 games. The other 8 games, they're wins. I'm sorry. I get Denver and Vegas twice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have 2 games against Not So Danger Russ and 2 games against Jimmy G, who's going to be fighting his way through the wet paper bag of a Josh McDaniels offense. No, thank you. I'll take those 4 wins. You open up against everybody's darling, the Detroit Lions, but you open up against the Lions at home against Jared Goff. Well, I don't know. Has he taken a preseason snap yet? Teddy Bridgewater's back there wearing an offensive lineman's number for some reason. And then you've got games against the Packers, the Patriots. Who else is on the list? The Bears in week 3. So you've got 8 games that I see stacked up as bang, W's. 8 W's, split the other 9. Even if you go 4-5 against those quality quarterbacks, that's still 12 wins. You're still hitting the over. So I love the over on Chiefs wins.
What about the Super Bowl? I think the first argument that I think of is it is very hard to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Do you think that is a strong enough one-sentence argument for you not to take the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year?
That combined with the fact that Patrick Mahomes is 1-3 against Joe Burrow. I mean, that's I'm not going to believe that this is necessary. And look, Burrow doesn't have the ring. I get it. You can't argue that Joe Burrow has had a better career than Patrick Mahomes at this point because, well, he doesn't have the ring. But in matchups between the two of them, Burrow has won more often than not. And as long as that's the case, and as long as I believe that those are the 2 best teams in the AFC, and they're probably meeting in the AFC Championship game, and I'm probably betting on Burrow in that instance, even as great as Patrick Mahomes is, because of the matchup between the two, I don't think I bet Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl. To win the Super Bowl. I mentioned earlier to win the AFC. I like that if I bet on both them and the Bengals, but not to win the Super Bowl. That's too far of a stretch for me, even at 6-1.
Right, because if you bet on the Chiefs to win the AFC, you can still hedge your bet and take the other side or take another team. if they at least make it to the AFC Championship game. Obviously, they'd probably be favorites, but still, you get what I'm saying. So we're going to have to do a little backtracking because you said something that I feel like is a little blasphemous. You think Aaron Rodgers is on the downward trend? This guy has a new cast of young, shiny receivers. He has the reigning offensive player of the year on the rookie side and Garrett Wilson. He's got a stable of running backs now that they've added Dalvin Cook. Where is the disconnect for you, my friend, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers? Because I don't think I'm buying into it. I think this guy is just fine. Like, maybe he doesn't win MVP, but I don't see him having like a precipitous drop off to where he's throwing ducks. Like, because you see this with older quarterbacks. Sometimes they start throwing it and it looks like, Drew Brees at the end of his career. So explain yourself, my friend.
I mean, last year was the worst statistical year of his career. And I don't think going to New York is going to make it any better. It's as simple as that. I admit, yes, they've got weapons around him. They've gone out in some cases and gotten the exact weapons that he wants, in fact. I don't think that's necessarily the fix. This franchise was primed to grow, right? To let their skill position players take the lead. I keep mentioning Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall is healthy again. Let the offense grow organically behind those guys, the weapons that you have in place. And instead, they decide to sell out to Aaron Rodgers. Bring in Aaron Rodgers, who again is coming off the worst statistical season of his career. And, let's not forget, is not getting any younger. Like, he's going to be 40 this season. So with all that said, why are we selling out to a guy who quite clearly is on the backside of his career because we think he's going to take us to the promised land? Well, Aaron Rodgers, even if he has a good year, even if Aaron Rodgers, I'll grant you this, Chelsa, has a good year, I don't think we'll ever get the greatness of prime Aaron Rodgers ever again. Again, he's going to be 40 this fall. This isn't Tom Brady, who took immaculate care of himself with avocado ice cream. This guy's going to a middle of nowhere to sweat out some ayahuasca in the offseason so he can hallucinate better wide receivers around him. Aaron Rodgers, even if he's good, though, is still not good enough to take the Jets from being, the Jets, to a Super Bowl. Maybe he gets him a wild card appearance. Maybe they get bounced in the first round. That's the most Jets fans can expect, and that's what we sold out the franchise for a wild card appearance. Maybe that's good enough for Jets fans. It's not good enough for me. And yes, I'm fading Aaron Rodgers all year long.
Chris, you are our guest. We will start with you. Who is your MVP this Monday?
I really want to get behind Trey Turner. 362 average, 1067 OPS with 4 homers and like 60 plate appearances since that big Friday night standing ovation at Citizens Bank Park that was like, it was this huge moment in Philly. I really want to get behind him, but the numbers on Viktor Hovland are just ludicrous. A 28 on the back 9. I can't break 28 on 9 holes of mini golf, guys. This is ridiculous. Viktor Hovland has to be our MVP for MVP Monday. Has to be.
Well, let me ask you this question. This is a betting show, isn't it? So I am going to give the MVP to somebody who has been cash money in the betting world, and that is Lionel Messi. He scored a goal in every single game since joining the MLS. He was minus 135 to score a goal against Nashville SC. That came through. I believe he was also the first goal scorer of this game. So we reward people who reward us back. And I feel like this is one of the safer bets to make right now. And also because our house was on Scotty Scheffler to win the BMW championship and he didn't. So I'm not giving it to Viktor Hovland. No, my MVP Monday is going to Lionel Messi, even though it does make me sad that Nashville FC lost in an absolutely bananas game. I don't know if you saw the end of this game, but it came down to penalty kicks, and the final one was the goalie trying to score on the other goalie, because I guess that's how soccer works. You have to go down the roster and everybody like tries to score, and there's your synopsis of soccer by soccer expert Chelsa Messenger. But what a bananas game. I'm still giving it to Lionel Messi.
This feels more like an anti-Scheffler take. I'm sorry, Bill, but this is Chelsea just taking out her anger on Scotty Scheffler.